r/AskReddit. What loophole did you exploit before someone found out? For a while, you could buy $1 coins from the US Treasury using credit cards. They would ship them to you for free. If you had a rewards credit card, let's say an airline one, you could buy thousands of dollars of coins. Go to a bank, deposit them, and then pay your credit card back. It was a good way to get a ton of points for flying without ever paying for anything. They stopped doing this. My old apartment complex had a soda vending machine at the pool that was broken. If you put in 50 cents and press the button, nothing happened. If you put in another 50 cents and press the button, nothing happened. But if you put 50 cents in a third time and press the button, you get 3 sodas. I could see the vending machine from my couch. So I would watch for someone to try, and then try again, and then give up without trying a third time. And then I'd head over and get 3 sodas for 50 cents. There was a vending machine in my college dorm that, if you have it a dime, it would slip through to the coin return instantly but still count the credit for the dime. So as long as you had 1 dime, everything was free. Coca-Cola did a campaign where you register a code from the bottle cap and earn prizes. I worked at a store with bottle deposit and earned myself a sweet MP3 player with room for 5 songs or something. I was the only one I knew that had a MP3 player, so it was pretty sweet at the time. I learned before my assistant secretary of the Air Force basic training to say that I played an instrument. Whenever they asked the group on the first day, I raised my hand and lied, the cymbals. So most days I got to angrily smash cymbals together in the air-conditioned bank trailer instead of marching/drill practice in the San Antonio summertime sun. Buffalo Wild Wings used to have a check-in thing. Check in enough times and you get a free meal. The office I worked in was close enough, geographically, that I could check in from there without physically going to the restaurant. A bunch of co-workers, and I had an alarm to check in every day, and then once we all had a free meal, we'd go there for lunch. I got probably 4 or 5 free meals out of it before Buffalo Wild Wings revamped that system. Had a college professor that insisted on doing all tests and quizzes online. If you looked at the page through view page source, all of the answers for each multiple answer question had a marker on which one was correct. A new fast food place opened near my work. My mother-in-law got me a gift card to the place as a birthday gift. I went on opening day and tried to use my gift card. They said the system wasn't in place yet and just gave me my food for free. This worked for almost a month. It was the best gift card I ever had. Started with $20 on it, and I got at least $100 worth of food. When in high school, there was a company that offered money to run an advertising window at the top of your screen. It would monitor mouse movement to track whether you were at your computer and pay a small amount per hour. A buddy and I downloaded it and a mouse moving software and would run both 24/7, except when we were on the computer. Made a few $100s off of it before the company closed down. I used to work for Sears as a teen. When someone came in without the rewards program, I would just put my own info in. That way my sales percentage for awards members didn't drop, and I got all of their points. The amount of coupons and free money was insane, especially when I was working back in the tools department. I didn't stop until they started upgrading their ancient point of sale system. I also had an employee discount of 20% on soft lines, clothes, home, etc., and 10% on hard lines, tools, which they didn't take away for a few years after I quit. Back when physical media video rentals were still a thing, we were gifted a Blockbuster gift card for a free rental. The card proved to be unbreakable. Every time we rented a movie, I would hand the clerk the card. They would scan the barcode on the card, hand the card back, and the movie was free. We used the card for about 3 years, until our local Blockbuster closed. There was obviously some sort of software error, but the gift card was never ejected. Found a website where you had to vote for best diving liveaboard company. It was shared by a company in the competition trying to boost the votes. The first prize was a dive trip in the Maldives for 1 week on their liveaboard. I found a flaw in the voting system and asked the company trying to win if they counted individual votes as entries or one person gets 1 vote. They replied that each vote counted as an entry. Politely told them to prepare me as the winner. The flaw in the website was that it used simple cookies to check if someone has already voted. Made a script to vote and clear cookies, rinse and repeat. I had a great trip scuba diving for a week in the Maldives. Not me, but my roommate in college. Whenever you paid for anything on the university's website you'd earn college bucks. Each year's tuition paid for something small like a beer koozie, fold up lawn chair, or if you somehow spent an absurd amount, an official school branded kayak. Well, my buddy found out that the points were added to your account before payment went through on the website. So he just refreshed the page over and over and got millions of points. I only found out his scheme when I came home to an entire living room filled with boxes from our school. There were shirts, coolers, chairs, cups, and of course the kayak. We opened all of it, like idiots, and had a giant laugh at the school's expense. All of the guys living in that house were having a great time, until we opened the smallest box which had $1,100 Visa gift cards. Then we got scared. A bunch of school branded crap from a warehouse was probably unusual, but not something that would bother the person loading all that up for delivery. The gift cards though, that was where he got caught. The gift card issuer called the school to verify such a large amount before activating the cards, and that raised a lot of red flags in the accounting department. They traced it all back to my roommate and came and took everything back. They left the opened items and the worthless gift cards and suspended him during his final semester of college. He had to write an apology letter and do community service for the school for that whole semester in return for not pressing charges for fraud. It makes for a great story though, and we had a ton of beer koozies and gift cards that we threw at each other like ninja stars. Free sandwiches from CFA based on location. Used GPS spoofer and got tons of free sandwiches a week on multiple acts. I think I got about $5,000 worth of sandwiches and nuggets before they banned me. When I was in middle school, Pepsi did a thing where if you bought a 20-ounce soda, there was a decent chance the cap would say you were a winner on the inside and you could exchange it for another 20 ounces. Problem is, a dark colored soda like Pepsi is reflective. Hold the bottle slightly tilted and you could look at the reflection of the inside of the cap. For a whole school year I didn't pay for soda. Bought a winner, and every day I'd exchange the cap at a gas station I passed on the way home for another winner. Eventually Pepsi caught on, and instead of it saying you won on the cap itself, there would be a code you had to enter online. We didn't have the internet in our pocket in those days, and it wouldn't have been worth it to read and enter multiple backwards codes for a soda if we had, so this ended the scheme. Back in the late 90s with the .com boom, there was a website called Prize Point. You would play one of their many games. When the game was over you would hit a cash out button and win tickets that was based on your score. My computer was running slow with dial-up internet, and I was frustrated and hit the cash out button a whole bunch of times. The next thing that popped up was I reached my daily limit of point, something I had never done before. I started doing this every day and reached the daily limit with just one game. The tickets were used like raffle entries for one of their prizes. One ticket equals one entry. I saved all of mine for months and dumped them into a trip to Hawaii. It was one of my best vacations ever. Taco Bell had a $5 box deal to win a PS4 before it was released to the public. I found that towards the end of the promotion you could enter to win without purchasing a $5 box. You could only enter once per phone number and address. Also the rewards were time based. Every 15 minutes someone would win. I woke up every night at 3:16 AM and entered 4 times using my home, work, and my mother-in-law's home and work numbers and addresses. After about a week I was about to stop and I won. I had a PS4 3 days before the public could even buy them. The next year I did the same thing and won a second PS4 for the kids game room. After that they changed the rules slightly to make it much harder to game the system. Work allowed us to skip breaks and bank them, but the contract language basically made it so you could bank both 15-minute breaks each day as well as bank your lunch if you never technically clocked out. So I'd just eat while driving from job to job and bank an hour a day. Was able to use all that time after a while to take an entire month off of work, paid, without even using any of my assigned PTO. HR got pissy about it and tried to rake me over the coals when I got back, but I pointed out the contract language and they realized their hands were tied. They pushed out a new contract to fix this exploit, but my work contract was still good for another year, so I declined and kept banking time, taking time off when I wanted. Of course they didn't offer me a new contract once mine was up, but I had a better paying job closer to home lined up already anyway, and took the last 2 months off, paid, while I started my new job, so I was basically getting 2 salaries. For a year I lived in a house in London that was split into 3 flats. The landlord had submitted meter readings before I moved in, so I just waited for each new bill to put my name on the accounts. When we moved out, I went to submit the meter readings and couldn't figure out who was supplying our gas, heating and cooking. Couldn't find any bills. Couldn't see any payments from my bank accounts. It was a mystery. Ended up just calling suppliers asking if they had an account for my address. In the end it turned out that whilst 3 meters had been installed for the flats, only 2 had ever been registered. Without a contract with a supplier, or even any readings for the years a flat had been there was no way we could be charged for our year's usage, or for the few weeks, until we moved out whilst a new account was set up. As the guy from the gas company said to me, "Congratulations, you have free gas." The annoying thing was that we'd kept the thermostat down during the winter to save money. Went totally wild for those last few weeks though. My college had a points-based meal plan. 100 points equaled approximately $6.50. We used special credit card swipers that were able to swipe our IDs when using these points. Midway through my first year, they decided to install self-serve kiosks that could give you cash back if you swiped your card as if you were going to pay, asked for cash back on the kiosk, and then cancelled the transaction on the special swiper before it went through on the main kiosk. It would give you cash without deducting the points. So basically free money. As far as I could tell, nobody found out I was doing it because I never saw any point deductions from my ID card and nobody ever talked to me about it. I made about $300 for free. They disabled the cashback option after a couple weeks though. I'm a traveling registered nurse, and on one particular assignment the cafeteria staff was under the impression that travel nurses ate for free. Anything we wanted, and as much as we wanted. So for almost 6 months I got all of my meals for free, and I also picked up extra stuff for my friends on the unit. Eventually they sent out a hospital-wide email stating that we absolutely do not eat for free and never were supposed to get free food. So that ended that. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.